calling on Council to adopt a resolution to support the campaign for marriage equality, to support our community, people in our community who want marriage equality. And I did that highlighting to the Council that it's our role and responsibility under the Local Government Act to not only be the Board of Governors of the Council, to look after the budgets and governance and so on, and policies, but also, and it's quite clear in the Local Government Act, to act in the interests of residents and ratepayers, to support the community, to show community leadership. But it's that part of the Local Government Act that the majority of Conservative Liberal Party councillors do not understand. And the Liberal Party at the last meeting, those councillors moved that motion not even be considered, not even be debated, and just defer that decision for another day. So recently I put in another notice of motion, making it very simple, that Newcastle Council support marriage equality. Very simple. But the General Manager blocked that motion from going to this Council meeting. It was meant to be on the agenda of this Council meeting, but the General Manager has blocked that from going to Council. He has no authority under the Local Government Act, no delegation from the elected Council to do that. He must accept all motions that come from councillors as long as they're within the required time frame of the adopted Code of Meeting Practice, which my motion was. So the General Manager has acted illegally in blocking the motion coming to this Council meeting. So we'll be moving tonight that Council consider this motion, that Council adopt a resolution supporting marriage equality for the people of Newcastle. It's quite clear that that's what the majority of people in Newcastle want. There's been similar resolutions at a number of councils across New South Wales and across the country. And it's certainly something I think that Newcastle Council should be doing, and I hope that we do it tonight. If we don't do it tonight, I'll be putting something for the next Council meeting, and I'll keep doing it until this Council considers the motion and adopts a resolution supporting marriage equality. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael Osborne, Greens Councillor for Newcastle. Our other Greens Councillor, Therese, Doyle, is just here. This issue is being supported by Greens and Labor. It's being voted against by all of the other members on the Council. And one of the things that horrifies me about this action is that we have a Council full of rhetoric that is acting illegally. And I think that really needs to be brought home and a message made of this. What the Council is being asked to do is purely act within their scope of practice and provide community leadership. In blocking the motion, they are acting illegally, and they need to be held to account for that. I'd like to welcome now Michelle Lancey from PFLAG.
Hi, I'm from PFLAG, and that stands for Parents and Friends of Lesbian and Gay. We support families and help them to stay united and together. You know, there's nothing complex or complicated about full equality for all our children. My family is just as valuable as everyone else's. I have 3 children and one of them is gay. In 2013, it's hard to believe that all our children don't have full and equal rights in this country. As I said, I'm Michelle Lancey. I'm the chairperson of Newcastle PFLAG, and our aim is to keep families together and united. I see marriage equality as a legal, a human rights issue, not a religious one. It's about our sons and daughters being able to marry, and we all want acceptance, equal rights and choice for our kids by obtaining equality through legislation and education. I'm passionate about fairness, but above all, I'm passionate about supporting our children. My 3 children and I are supportive of each other, but sadly this is not always the case. And I want the gay and lesbian community to know that they're not alone. There's lots of organisations such as PFLAG, ACON, Australian Marriage Equality, and GetUp who've taken on the fight for equality for them. And I've been fortunate enough to fight for this at Labor National Conference. Equality is an issue for all Australians. It's about the simple dignity of being treated the same regardless of who you love. For families, it's about knowing that your children have the same rights as everyone else's. I would like the same rights and choice for all 3 of my children. I want all mums and dads to feel comfortable to talk openly about their gay and straight children around their work lunch table. I feel that we're taking a big step forward, and I hope that if you believe in social justice, you'll take the time to talk to your MPs, state and federal, and let them know that you support the marriage equality for everyone's children.
The baby, however we were born this way. A quick word now from Therese, Greens councillor from Newcastle.
Hi everybody. It struck me as Michael was speaking that tonight at Council's ordinary council meeting we will be adopting Council's strategic plan. A significant part of that plan is called Inclusive Community, believe it or not. And in that section of the strategic plan, Council is committing itself to ensure that we have an inclusive and cohesive, welcoming community in Newcastle. A couple of members of councillors, after the last time they rejected even hearing a vote to support marriage equality, told me, I have nothing against marriage equality, I just don't want to talk about it on council. So it's a pity, it's a very great pity that they're not willing to stand up for the principles that we're actually voting on tonight. We're voting on loose principles which should actually mean something, that should have some concrete manifestations with regard to how we treat our community. And I guess this is a litmus test of just how inclusive Newcastle City Council intends to be. So good luck with all of with the whole campaign. Certainly the Greens support you all the way. We all have friends among us who have every right to manifest their love in whatever way they see fit. So let's keep going. Let's keep fighting for marriage equality, and Michael and I will commit ourselves. We'll keep doing it. We'll keep putting those motions in front of council, because we believe that it's everybody's business, including Newcastle City Council. Thank you.
Justice for everyone, damn right I support it. I'd like to introduce to the microphone now Miss Claydon from the Rainbow Army.
I would like to read a statement on behalf of the Rainbow Army. The DIY Rainbow Crossings movement started in April this year. On the 19th of April, a group of us met at the Sydney Junction Hotel to participate in creating one of these stalk artworks. After 2.5 hours of working on this project, members of Newcastle City Council turned up to remove it, as they had only 2 complaints, that the words marriage equality were offensive. Immediately, word of this spread through the media, and the community came out to show their support. In the weeks that followed, there was many chalk rainbows drawn throughout Newcastle, and all were removed. So we decided to work together, and thus the Rainbow Army was born. We held our first demonstration at Council Chambers on the 24th of April, and we decided that instead of picket signs and aggressive shouting of chants, we would use the idea of stalk art to write and draw positive messages of equality in protest of the Council's actions. And then the Lord Mayor himself, Councillor Jeff McCloy, came with a large team of duty compliance officers and told the group they were ridiculous and stop this nonsense. He referred to the artworks as rubbish, and the group involved as vandals. They forced the group to stop and immediately had the artwork washed away by a highway street sweeper. It was stated that the artworks were removed as they were considered to be graffiti, yet the Graffiti Control Act lists the implements of graffiti as A, spray paint, B, a marker pen, and C, any implement designed or modified to produce a mark that is not readily removable by wiping or by use of water or detergent. After this, we decided to hold an event, Make Newcastle Rainbow Day. where we asked members of the community to chalk as many rainbows around town as possible. On this day, compliance officers were on patrol and stopped anyone that took part in creating one of these works. The council stated many times to the media that these works were removed as they were graffiti and not because they had a gay theme to them. Yet in the week leading up to our chalking in Civic Park here, we got several local youth groups to help us out by chalking many artworks on the streets of Newcastle. They were simple children's drawings, with nothing to do with the rainbow flag or gay and lesbian rights. There was hotspot in 2 locations. None of these works were removed, yet all rainbow crossings were. Sorry, I've got gloves. It's really hard to use. What is the reason to explain this? Other than the fact that the council's actions are an act of social prejudice against the GBLTQI community. The Rainbow Army have lodged official complaints against the Mayor over these actions, and now we join the fight for equality on a national level. With help by companies like GayMeetingPlace.org and organisations such as CAR, we are about to start a full-fledged campaign for marriage equality. Since the Stonewall riots on June 28, 1969 and the Surf Mardi Gras in 1978, we have continued to fight our oppression, and we have achieved so many amendments to government legislations around the world for our basic civil rights. But that is not enough. We will not stop till we have the same rights as every other citizen. 15 countries around the world have already made amendments to their governments to include same-sex marriage. The United Kingdom is soon to join them. It's time for Australia to do the same. Leader of the coalition, Mr. Tony Abbott, recently said he would support marriage equality, but does not believe the majority population would be supportive of this. Yet the polls have shown that 64% are in agreement for an amendment to be made to include marriage rights for same-sex people. The fact that our leaders are still discussing whether or not this issue should be put to Parliament is ridiculous. Now is the time for this to happen. We once again ask the Honourable Prime Minister Julia Gillard and our nation's leaders to put this matter to a conscious vote at the next available sitting, and not to continue to sidestep the issue as they have done so in the past. We deserve to have our equal rights, and we will fight to get them. Our oppression has gone on for too long, and now is the time for it to end. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Less than 20% of Australian households are made up of a traditional nuclear family, mum and dad and the biological children of those 2 people. Less than 20%. What we're asking Newcastle Council to do is to recognise the reality of Australian families, is to recognise the reality of Australian communities, is to recognise the reality that we all live in many, many, many diverse ways, and that's what Australia is about. That to not recognise a significant part of our community and to not validate their choices, their families, who they live with, who they love, and how they live is a complete disgrace to all of us who want to live in a diverse, inclusive, loving, rainbow community. Give them a cheer up there.